I'm Kevin O'Connor. I work with a team at this old house that rebuilds old homes. I'm on a trip to meet another team. Most of them spent years volunteering to serve their country. Now, they volunteer to rebuild lives. When people run away from disaster, these are the men and women who run towards it. Their mission is to help the neediest. They call themselves Team Rubicon. Team Rubicon was founded in 2010 as a disaster response organization. But as it grew and evolved, leadership got the feeling that there was something missing.
You muck out a house and you clear it out and you say goodbye to the homeowner. Everyone had this feeling that the job wasn't done.
They knew they wanted to launch a rebuild operation, but they didn't know exactly when or where. The answer came in August 2017.
Texas right now is in the grip of the most powerful storm to hit the United States in more than a decade.
Hurricane Harvey battered Houston for 4 days, flooding a city with over 50 inches of rain. 150,000 homes were damaged. Greyshirts from all over the country poured into Houston to help, and so did the donations.
We made a well-informed but hasty decision 2 or 3 days after the storm hit to raise as much money as we could, with a commitment to diverting all of those excess funds into launching a rebuild program focused on Houston. And that's what we did.
And in true Team Rubicon fashion, they set their sights high. Their goal? Rebuild 100 homes in 2 years' time at no cost to the homeowner. Jessica Postel's was the 10th house TR rebuilt. I went to meet her while I was in Houston.
Doing great, Kevin. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Come on in to my lovely home.
It is lovely. It's all put back together again.
It is. It is. I'm so proud to be here still.
Like so many other Houston residents, Jessica lives outside the flood zone.
So here we are sitting in the living room watching TV, and then all of a sudden my daughter comes running from the back room and she's like, "Mom, the water's coming. It's coming in the house." And I stopped immediately, dropped what I was doing, went to the back bedrooms, and sure enough, the water was coming up, and it wasn't stopping. What do I do? What do? You start praying.
With the water rising, Jessica, her husband, son, and daughter grabbed what they could, their pets, family photos, important documents, and evacuated to a relative's house about 30 minutes away. When she finally returned home, her worst fears had come true.
What was the first reaction the first time you set foot back here?
Oh my God.
The family moved into a Holiday Inn and poured their life savings into fixing the house.
We took out everything that we had in our savings account. We re-leveled the floor. We were able to put in new flex plumbing, but at that time, we ran out of money.
Jessica heard about a relief fund started by football player J.J. Watt, so she applied, which led her to an organization called Team Rubicon. Jessica was skeptical at first, but then gray shirt Ken Ferris went to meet her. Ken decided to take on the rebuild project, and when he returned, he brought some friends.
There was Ken, and there were a sea full of gray shirts. I didn't know what gray shirts meant at the time, but they were my angels. And they came in full force. They didn't stop. I mean, they started early in the morning and they worked till late in the evening. And I would come every day, not only just to see the progress, but to see them. So they would remember me. My father was a veteran. And I told him, I said, Dad, I said, look at all these people here. I said, these are all veterans. I said, and they're coming and helping us. And he said, those are my boys. Those are my boys.
The first 3 times I met Jessica ended in tears. Tears of gratitude. Her whole family. Just a second. Jessica's whole family is a special part of us. It's part of the fabric of Rebuild.
Jessica didn't know it at the time, but the support of the Greyshirts would become even more important when another tragedy struck her family.
When they found out that my husband had passed away, he passed away here at home.
He was able to spend his last days in the comfort of his home, surrounded by loved ones.
And the Greyshirts made it possible, because I don't think it would have gone that way had I not gotten the help that I did.
And they all knew him?
Yes, they did. He met every one of the Greyshirts that came, just told him over and over again how thankful that he was. He had a bad heart, we were still waiting to get on a heart transplant list. He never got on his list, but he got on Rubicon's list. And I think that made all the work.
That's hard.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard, and still to keep going, to continue to keep going. But my Greyshirts call me, give me that courage to still keep going, so that I could see my grandchildren grow up in my home. And they made that happen.
For Jessica, Team Rubicon didn't rebuild a house, but instead, a home.
I think this is better than winning the lotto, to tell you the truth, Kevin, if I'm not lying. Money can come and go, but your home will always be your home.
Texas was dealt another blow by Mother Nature in February 2021. When Winter Storm Yuri descended on a state, it brought with it a deep freeze that lasted for days.
The weather disaster in Texas is gaining new urgency, with many people still just fighting to survive in their own homes.
This is worse than Harvey, and we lost everything.
Texas's residents and its infrastructure were woefully unprepared. 2/3 of the state lost power, not only robbing people of light, but also of heat. And for Houston resident Penny Bettis, the damage to his home, where he lived since he was 10 years old, was so extensive it was now unlivable.
Last storm, when they had that big freeze, that's where the pipe busted in there in the closet. Water just skeeting out, the whole ceiling come down. It messed up all the way to the kitchen. I couldn't handle it no more.
For Penny, this reality was especially cruel. He worked in construction for 20 years, until a tragic job site accident. Penny needed surgery and could no longer work in the trade he loved. And the man who fixed other people's homes for a living couldn't fix his own. Displaced, he moved in with his sister as he searched for help.
When I asked for help, people would just look at me and say, well, there ain't nothing I can do but keep trying. And that's what I kept doing until I got with my cousin and got in contact with y'all.
Penny's persistence paid off, because help came knocking on his door in the form of a Greyshirt.
Nationally, TR has rebuilt over 700 homes, including 120 right here in town. And this is one of them, which we are furiously putting the finishing touches on.
Brandon Callahan is the Rebuild Operations Manager for Team Rubicon. He's the Greyshirt who knocked on Penny's door 7 months ago.
We really make an effort to seek out the most vulnerable folks that we can honestly say that without our help or someone's help, they're not going to recover.
We need a caulk around all the windows. The doors, we'll check the doors.
It's that sense of urgency of we got to make sure that this is all right.
For its rebuild operations, Team Rubicon enlists both volunteers and staff, many of whom are part of a carpenter apprenticeship program, helping to train veterans in the trades.
I'm the lead carpenter here, so what I do is I do all the framing. I make sure that the crew is on point.
I am a carpenter apprentice. I personally, got my practice in on putting the cabinets.
This program helps reduce the number of outside contractors TR brings on and ensures that the work is done to their standards.
We've totally rebuilt it up with a fortified gold standard.
We also want to send a message we care, and we do that by making sure the quality is up there.
Hey, Brandon.
Kevin, how you doing? Welcome to Houston.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, glad you're here.
Thank you. So you are putting the finishing touches on this house.
Yeah, we're getting ready to give this thing back tomorrow morning.
So how many bedrooms has he got?
It's got three bedrooms, a bathroom, and a pretty nice kitchen.
And what do you think? Are you guys going to be ready for tomorrow? Because I'm sure after 2 years, Penny is very anxious to get back in the house, right?
Penny's very excited to come home. Whether we're ready or not tomorrow, I think it's going to depend on how hard you're ready to work.
I'm ready. I got the shirt on, whatever it takes.
Well, let's get to work.
All right, I can mop. That's good. We'll get the place cleaned up for Mr. Penny.
Back at Penny's house, the big day is finally here.
On behalf of Team Rubicon and all Greyshirts, we want to say thank you and welcome home. You may not cut your
I
ribbon.
want to say thank y'all to all of y'all. Y'all did a darn good job. I ain't got no complaints.
Welcome home.
For the first time in 2 years, Penny is home.
Come on here, Papa, watch your step. Come on.
You got to walk through that front door for the first time? What were you thinking?
Oh, wow. My heart just dropped. I said, God is good.
You like it, Penny?
I love it. I love it. Oh, yeah.
That's your hot water heater, Penny? What is that?
Yeah, that's a hot water heater. That's the big boy. When I seen that kitchen, I was like, yes, indeed.
You know how to cook on electric stove?
Yeah, I know how to cook on electric stove.
Did you ever think strangers would show up and give you the help that you've been hoping for and end up with this?
I love every bit of it. I never had nothing like this, you know. Feel like I want to cry.
It's a blessing for Penny, but also for the Greyshirts, who worked tirelessly to get Penny back into his home.
What you think so far?
Man, it's out of sight. What you mean what I think?
It's the best days we have. It's the culmination of all our hard work, everything we've put into it, blood, sweat.
We've done this hundreds of times, and I still cry. We're able to give families a place to have holiday dinners again, and that impact will outlive all of us.
Welcoming someone truly home into a home that's safe and secure and well-constructed is the most amazing celebration.
That celebration continued outside.
Which way y'all want me to cut it? At the door?
Yeah.
Take the door out.
Did you have a chance to meet some of these folks out at the little celebration out back?
I tried to make sure I talk to all of them and shake their hand and thank them. Thank them for all of my heart.
And the biggest thank you for the Greyshirts, knowing that with each house they rebuild, they're making the entire community stronger.
Resilience to us is making a house better than it was and making it so the homeowner during the next storm doesn't have to rely on anybody. Because if they can self-recover after the storm, now they can help their neighbor. And we haven't just made that one home more resilient, we've made that community more resilient.
Welcome home, Penny.
Thank you.
You enjoyed it, right?
I sure will.
While Houston is the birthplace of Team Rubicon's rebuilding efforts, a majority of the 701 homes they've rebuilt are 2,000 miles away. In 2017, shortly after Harvey hit Houston, Puerto Rico experienced a 1-2 punch.
Irma, a Category 5, has already turned deadly on the islands of the Caribbean.
On September 7th, Hurricane Irma passed by, knocking out power to the entire island. Then, 2 weeks later, the unthinkable happened. Maria, Category 4 hurricane, hit the island, causing widespread and catastrophic damage.
The winds are ferocious right now, gusting above 120 miles per hour.
Over 40,000 landslides. 97% of the roads were impassable, and nearly 3,000 people lost their lives. TR knew they had to respond.
It was a really complex scenario, and we almost kind of approached it like one of our international operations, despite it being a U.S. territory. In Puerto Rico, property ownership records are poorly kept and maintained. You have a lot of people who have been in homes for multiple generations who, for all intents and purposes, own that home but cannot prove it. And a lot of organizations refuse to assist those homeowners because of that lack of title. So we specifically looked for those types of homeowners that we knew that others weren't going to help them.
The initial operation, Coqui Calling, lasted 3 months with 229 volunteers responding, assisting with medical needs, clearing roads, and tarping roofs. In the end, TR served nearly 3,000 people, but they didn't stop there.
We were fortunate enough to have this vision and I guess to some extent the audacity to think that we could go in there and build roofs.
TR launched Operation Rebuild Puerto Rico in February of 2018 with the goal of rebuilding as many roofs as possible and proactively protecting them from the next storm.
So we partnered with the local community and we hired people in Puerto Rico and we rebuilt over 500 hurricane-rated roofs.
The roof system Team Rubicon designed is comprised of a galvanized steel cover supported by pressure-treated wood beams that are tied into concrete footings.
Fast forward 5 years and those roofs still stand. We check in on those homeowners after additional storms pass, and we're really proud of both the design that we took, the quality that we made those roofs with.
Since TR installed the roofs, Puerto Rico has experienced an earthquake and 2 hurricanes, including Fiona, which made landfall in September of 2022. After the storm, Team Rubicon checked in with homeowners, like William Gonzalez.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Saludos, estamos por aquí nuevamente dando una vueltita.
Ok.
Greyshirts, Edith and Juan Carlo inspect the roof TR installed 5 years ago.
Sí, por fuera ahí lo puedes ver por fuera.
Y aquí puedes ver en esta columna que está anclado a no tan solo al piso, sino también a la estructura. Cuando vinimos la última vez, su esposa dijo que solamente Dios podía...
Sí, tumbarlo, porque él es el único que los vientos no lo van a tumbar. Y que hicieron un buen trabajo, que eso está ahí bien hecho. Yo pues muy agradecido con el Team Rubicon por haberme hecho el techo y gracias a ellos hasta el día de hoy tengo un techo ahí y no me ha caído ni una gotita de agua dentro de la casa.
Meeting with William and having him show us around the house and how it's held up, it shows me how creative Team Rubicon can be. There is no limit for us.
After Fiona, we were able to send a lot of Spanish speakers, a lot of Puerto Ricans. Having that language and that connection to the community was incredibly, enabling in that recovery.
Edith Garcia Figueroa is one of the Puerto Rican Greyshirts who responded after Hurricane Fiona. She grew up in Puerto Rico, but moved to Connecticut when the government closed the schools.
At the age of 15, my mom was pretty much like, I can't keep my kids here. She ended up moving us to Connecticut, and I finished high school there.
After high school, Edith followed in her brother's footsteps, joining the military, enlisting in the Army.
I always felt like there was more that I can do, and I wasn't living up to my potential.
But Edith's military career was cut short by a freak accident.
I fractured my hips on a jump. I jumped out of airplanes. I landed fine. However, the parachute, there was a gust of wind that grabbed underneath, and it dragged me about 300 yards. I think getting medically retired from the Army was probably one of the lowest points for me, to be completely honest. I went through a pretty bad depression. You had this image of, what your life was supposed to be. It kind of just felt like in the blink of an eye, everything was just taken away.
Edith went to college, got a degree, and started and stopped a number of careers, including one as an EMT.
I hate to do this to you, but...
But none of them were a replacement for the military career she dreamed of. Her brother mentioned Team Rubicon, and she thought it could be a good fit.
My first op, we had gotten here shortly after Hurricane Maria. I had started on the medical team at the time. I was an EMT. So we had a pop-up clinic.
I remember just waking up one day and realizing that, this is the feeling that I had been looking for so long.
Just that sense of fulfillment and being able to just change someone's life in the most minimal way. It, in return, changed my life forever.
Team Rubicon not only changed her life, but also provided the career she had been searching for. In 2022, the volunteer became an employee.
I am the operations associate for Team Rubicon. I currently cover New York, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
This new job has brought her home to Puerto Rico. Even though she is on the payroll, Edith is first and foremost a gray shirt. Today, in fact, she's on a tarping crew with one of her favorite volunteers.
It's awesome. It really is. It's awesome.
In Puerto Rico, Team Rubicon is responding after Hurricane Fiona made landfall. Edith, a newly transplanted TR employee, is tarping roofs with her favorite gray shirt.
I guess I really like working with my mom. I love working with my mom. I do. It's the best.
Her mother, Wanda, has been a gray shirt since 2017. And today marks their third operation together and Edith's first since moving back.
A lot of the homes that we were working on after Fiona, they still had tarps up from Maria. It's pretty insane to see, but we can just take it one house at a time.
We want to just provide the help, any help that the people need here.
Today, Wanda and Edith are heading out with a strike team to tarp roofs.
Well, it's going to be a good day. Yes, it is.
I think for a really long time, we felt like Puerto Rico had been neglected. Kind of seeing the possibilities of what TR can do for Puerto Rico, it gives me hope. I'm not gonna get emotional, Jesus, no. I am. It's hard to not feel it, especially when this is home, you know?
Tarping roofs here in Puerto Rico brings with it its own challenges.
A lot of the construction wasn't the same as it was in the States. A lot of the homes that we were working on are made out of concrete.
Who's the boss? You or the tape?
So the blue tarps that we originally would use are worthless to us right now.
I learned with the blue tarps, you had to use rope instead of the tape.
We did find a company that offers sticky tarps, so we decided to order straight from the manufacturer.
Make sure it's stretched out.
Yep. The sticky tarps actually come in a large white square with adhesive around all four corners. Do we have another roll of tape? It creates a stronger bond, so they're more durable.
We're done. We love you.
Working with my mom is amazing.
I am so proud, extremely proud of her. She gives her all to anything she does. And Team Rubicon has been something very special for her. It's very dear to her. It's very deep in her heart, being able to help people.
Being able to show her what I've been able to accomplish and have her there with me to experience it, it's been pretty amazing.